So yes, so what I'm going to talk about is actually a very current issue uh, of having a lot of international students coming into the UK to learn. Um, Around that, I will talk about the support that the students may need to enhance their experience of learning. So, uh, this research, which we did, was actually done over a period of 2 years using a participatory qualitative research approach, where we wanted to find out the experiences of international students and how they view the curriculum in the United Kingdom in terms of transferability and also the support that they may need for them to be successful. So the background actually is that there has been an increased number of international students, mainly from the global south. And undoubtedly, this has also been an opportunity for the United Kingdom to have to have business as well, economic business, taking into consideration the amount of money these students are paying, and also, the place of learning that they need. So these students are coming with different experience to the terrain of education that they experience in the global south mainly, or in low and middle income countries. This terrain is defined by their culture of learning, and it's also defined by how they have been taught from primary, high school into higher education. It also comes against a backdrop of very high fees, which actually put pressure on the international students to achieve. Just imagine somebody paying 15 to 18,000 a year. Then they want also to be successful and make sure that that money is being put to use. So there are different approaches to teaching. Those that are used mainly in the global north, and those that has dominated the knowledge space of higher education in the global north. And there are also those that are used in the global south that also has dominated their space and that they've actually been accustomed to during the journey of their education. This had also some impact, as we will say. There has been a narrowing of also the curriculum from their perspective, because they are coming into a curriculum that has been designed to serve the challenges of a specific country, which on the design of the curriculum never expected that they would actually have all these international students. These students also come with different learning culture, and there has been also sort of probably some not adequate time to prepare for internationalization of education as seen with the experience of the students. Also, the narratives of students speaks to the decolonization of the curriculum to suit their environment when they go back home, which we will talk more about. So how did we come to get this? This was this study collected narratives of international students on their experience of learning in the UK. A total of 10 focus groups and 20 follow-up interviews were held over 3 years. Sorry, it was over 3 years. So the study was guided by the silences framework, and a thematic approach was used to analyze the data. So I can talk a little bit about the silences framework. This silences framework that we used is a framework that is normally used to elicit marginalized views, or those views that are normally not discussed because of power dynamics between the affected groups and those that are in control. So the silences framework tries to create a space and encourage those marginalized views from those with less power to try and articulate their position in as far as that situation is concerned. It also has some guidelines on how to analyze the data, and that analysis of data is actually very participatory. It includes the research participants, actively include the research participants. Now, let me just go to the findings. The findings were that the students felt that there was a failure in institutions to recognize the students' prior experience, as most of their curriculum were actually focused on what had actually been built within those universities, and it never in any way tried to look at their experience and build on their experience to try and also make sure that what they've brought is being built upon. Some of them actually gave examples of the questions where they were asked to analyze a policy on obesity in the United Kingdom, which in many cases they said it never meant anything to us. In fact, they were saying, okay, it would have been better if that had been opened to say, using a policy of your own, then probably I could relate to something from home. So they actually felt that the curriculum was narrow and it was built on national needs of the host country, which did not put into consideration that it would also attract international students. They also decried of unfamiliar teaching methods, and they teaching methods that they actually found very challenging is where they were just thrown into a discussion, and the lecturer would actually be either guiding them, whereas most of them, from their experience, were used to a situation where the lecturer first come and contextualize the issues, present them, and then later on lead them into discussions. So they also reported poor cultural competence on the part of instructors and lecturers, where, and again, they talked about how the classroom learning was not also related to support outside the learning. So there was also, they reported also a failure to connect with international knowledge spaces, where they found that there were Eurocentric solutions to most of the problems, whereas they were also talking about indigenous knowledge, especially some of those students who had worked with communities, and I will be giving examples of public health where I am. So they would say some of the methods were not actually in united agreement with what they were actually using back in their own home countries. So what were the conclusions and I would like to say the discussions that are ongoing and trying to probably make sure that these students get support? They recommended a redesigning of the curriculum to accommodate international knowledge spaces by allowing choices in responding to assignments. So they were looking to a situation where there would be recognition also of, some of the indigenous knowledge that they bring. So, and also they were of the opinion that education and training for lecturers to understand the terrain of learning in the global south was very important so that they can contextualize their courses and build upon the prior experience that these students from the global south are bringing with them. They also advocated for the use of culturally friendly teaching methodologies, which they say, according to the Eurocentric, sometimes, the lecture method, which they have used, is regarded as an old way of doing things. But according to them, it helped them to be successful. So those were their narratives. They said, oh, I would understand better when a lecturer comes, first of all, give a lecture and go through the concepts and how they are, and then invite me into a discussion after contextualizing those issues. I really resonated with the students, being also a person who had come from the global south, having experienced learning in the global south and in the global north. They also said that there was need for recognition of prior knowledge and experience of the learners and situating it into the curriculum, especially if this curriculum is known to be attracting international students. Good. So these were the issues still under discussion, and the issues, are debatable. They are a contested notion, I suppose.